Look, you know, as an investigative journalist, I really appreciate the emphasis that IA puts on, you know, getting to the heart of the story, heart of the matter. But there's also a really important point that sets IA apart, I think, and that's our support of citizen journalism and the new media, which is what it's all about these days. Some of us like to call this the fifth estate, as opposed to the fourth estate. Obviously, the fifth estate being you know, the digital media, the modern media, the new media. So looking at the history, you know, with the advent of the internet and social media, just trying to keep up with the sheer speed of today's media has become a real challenge. And what a lot of the mainstream media don't get, along with quite a few of the online news sites, is that communities know a whole lot more than you do, than we do. So if you're not engaging with the community, you're really only getting part of the story. IA understands the need to generate an actual, you know, conversation around the news, and that's really important. So, you know, we not only respond to you on the comments thread, also Facebook, and of course Dave Donovan and I on our Twitter feed. If you tweet to us, you know, we're going to respond to you. But the thing is that we also encourage you to pitch the stories and also to write the stories, and that's the critical thing. That's where we get our freshness from, compared to a lot of the other sites who generally just have a stable of journalists who pick over the news and, you know, put out their particular take on today's stories with their particular values filter. As far as writing, getting the community to write the stories, I've got a really good example of this. When I decided to cover the coal seam gas demonstration in Victoria. This was the biggest coal seam gas demonstration ever held in Victoria, and it was a 6-hour drive for me to go down to Seaspray in Gippsland. So I took along a video camera because I thought, oh, look, this would be great. You know, I can capture the event and get some shots of the human sign on the beach. And this would be a fantastic multimedia piece, you see. But when I organised the interviews, one of the people that I interviewed was Tracy Anton from Community Over Mining. After I'd interviewed her and come back home to write the story, I thought, no, you know, there's no way I'm going to be able to write this story with the passion that she had for the land. You know, she's a farmer, and you know, it was heartbreaking to listen to her story that day. So I rang her and I said, look, Tracy, how about you join me and we do this multimedia piece together. You write the story and I'll do the video. Anyhow, look, you've got to check it out. It is absolutely fantastic, this story. I think it's one of the most powerful pieces on this whole insanity of this coal seam gas experiment and the threat to our future food and water security that you're going to find anywhere. But sadly, like, many journos continue to lecture rather than like engage with their readers. Even those sites, you know, some of the mainstream media that have like a comments thread, how often do you make a comment on those threads and you never get a response from the journalist? It's the same with tweets. You know, quite a few of them, they're never going to respond if you tweet to them, which you know, is really disappointing. They don't actually get that collaborating with the community, you know, could lead to a really, really juicy tip on a story. or a vital fact that maybe they've missed, that could be the ingredients for, kind of really cracking follow-up story. So this is what sets IA apart. This is what I think. Like many of the online sites, as I said, still rely on a small stable of professional journos to bring you their take on the day's stories. But what we try to do is we try to get real news from real people, and that means people who are actually out there experiencing these stories, seeing and witnessing these stories, the stories that are coming straight from the coalface. And the people who contribute to IA, you get a massive range of voices. There are people who are passionate about human rights, animal rights, the environment, which is my space. There's community organisers, political tragics, get a few of those. And a lot of them actually know a lot more than many of the mainstream political editors. You have to follow them on Twitter, and it's just amazing what they know and what they find out. And also, like academics with specialist knowledge, we've got psychologists like Lynn Bender, doctors, barristers, lawyers, social workers, climate scientists, polemicists even, or especially, and retired journos, especially those who are no longer under the thumb of vested interests on the board or advertisers. And then, of course, there's the IA's own editorial team. So, here's the thing. Here's the story. We've come down from the ivory tower and we've crossed the virtual moat, and we've actually joined the community. So please come along and help us make the news, okay? Thank you.